Yo, what's going on, guys? Mr. Octagonal here from Octagonal Gaming. Now we have another Madden 19 rebuild. The last one was with my Detroit Lions, and usually we would stop after like 5 seasons, but I really wanted to win a Super Bowl with my team, so it ended up lasting 9 seasons long. This rebuild is certainly not going to last 9 years. We're going to be doing the Indianapolis Colts, debatably the worst roster in the NFL. Andrew Luck at quarterback is this team's saving grace. I don't really know what I'm going to do with him. He is 28. He's not going to get that much better, but he is still pretty good. 85 with star development. So the best we'll probably have him is like an 88. So maybe I keep him. Probably, I don't really know. Jacoby Brissett, that's pretty good trade value. Running back, that's ugly. Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines, not great. T.Y. Hilton's really good, but he's not the youngest, so probably going to look to move him. And then outside of that, not much excitement after receivers. The tight end spot is interesting. We have Jack Doyle out of Western Kentucky. He's 28. He does have star development. And meanwhile, looking at Eric Ebron here, former Detroit Lion, he is not as good as Doyle, and he only has normal development. But I think I'd rather build around Ebron just because he's 3 years younger. And in 5 years from now, Eric Ebron might be like an 88, 89. And 5 years from now, Jack Doyle will not be an 88 or an 89. He might be an 83. Offensive line, I don't have to trade for Quentin Nelson in this rebuild because we already have him. In most rebuilds I do, I trade for Quentin Nelson if you did not know. But outside of him, Ryan Kelly, Anthony Costanzo, former first-round picks, not great. Braden Smith, a rookie from Auburn, woohoo. On the defense, Jabal Sheard is really good, but he's also pretty old. And the rest of his defensive line is not really that good. Marcus Hunt. Kamoko Turay I might look to start because he is a rookie, but Al Woods, Hassan Ridgeway, Danico Artery, don't really care. Is that Carroll Phillips from the Illinois series? It is Carroll Phillips. Would you look at that? So we might just start him just because, why not? Linebacking core, Najee Goody, Anthony Walker, they're not great. But Darius Leonard here is really interesting. Darius Leonard has been phenomenal in real life for the Colts. I don't know why he's a 76. He should be at least like an 82. So we're going to look to build around him. Secondary, nothing at corner. Quincy Wilson was cool coming out of college, but he hasn't developed. Clayton Gavers, Matthias Fairley, going to look to trade both of them. Also going to look to trade Corey Moore. And then we have Malik Hooker. We need Malik Hooker to develop just because we have literally no one on our defense who's young and good outside of maybe Darius Leonard. So we need Hooker to be really good in this rebuild, and I am confident in him. So let's start making some trades. We're going to be making a big trade with the San Francisco 49ers, sending Anthony Costanzo and Al Woods, as well as a second rounder for Reuben Foster. Probably going to move him inside the middle linebacker, so we have our middle linebacker for the rest of the video. We're going to be trading away Braden Smith and Robert Turbin to get that second-round pick back. I know Braden Smith is a rookie, and he has quick development, but I don't really see him developing that much. And that pick actually belongs to the Jets from the Sam Darnold trade-up. So that should be a pretty good pick. We're going to be making another trade with the San Francisco 49ers. Jack Doyle, Kamoko Turay, and Jordan Wilkins will get us DeForest Buckner. Really good defensive lineman. He can play either tackle or end. I am a little bit sad I am trading away Kamoko Turay. He is a rookie, and he does have quick development. But sort of like Braden Smith, I don't think he's going to develop into a superstar with that quick development. So I'm fine with trading him. And then, as I said, I'd rather build around Eric Ebron than Jack Doyle, even though Eric Ebron has butterfingers. I signed a couple free agents, including Navarro Bowman and Dez Bryant, who are in this trade, as well as Chester Rogers. We will be getting Myles Garrett in return from the Cleveland Browns. So essentially, we swapped Chester Rogers for Myles Garrett. That's not too bad. Richie Incognito, who I signed in free agency, as well as Hassan Ridgeway and a 4th-round pick, will get us the Browns' first-rounder. I plan on using this Browns first-round pick in a big trade involving the New Orleans Saints. And I also plan on getting this first-round pick back. I have a master plan set that's going to be really good. Step 1 of 2 of the master plan has worked. We are trading Clayton Gavers, that Browns pick, and T.Y. Hilton for Michael Thomas. I offered them Matthias Fairley, our first-round pick, and T.Y. Hilton for Michael Thomas, and it wasn't accepted. So I got the Browns pick because it had a higher projection. And I'm pretty sure Clayton Gavers and Matthias Fairley have the same trade value, so I don't really care which one I put in the deal. We're going to be getting Michael Thomas. The Saints have a bunch of really talented tradable players, but I ended up choosing him. I know this does look like a bad trade on paper, because T.Y. Hilton isn't that much worse than Michael Thomas. But Thomas is young, T.Y. Hilton's going to start regressing, and I think I can get that pick back pretty easily. Step number 2 of the master plan has also worked, which is getting that pick back by trading away our 2 middle linebackers, both of whom are under 70 overall, so I don't really care about them. So we have totally finessed the Saints by trading T.Y. Hilton, Clayton Gavers, and 2 terrible middle linebackers for Michael Thomas. I moved Jabal Sheard and Matthias Fairley's positions just to give them what the Steelers wanted. And then I also signed Kerwin Williams, and we're going to be trading them for Juju Smith-Schuster, only 21 years old with star development. He has been phenomenal in real life, and he develops really well in the sim. So Michael Thomas and Juju Smith-Schuster, that's a really nice one. I am very surprised this trade got accepted, but I'm not really complaining. Jeremy Maclin, who I signed in free agency, and Jack Mewhort, who I also signed in free agency, for Stephon Tuitt. So we're getting a 25-year-old defensive end for 3. That's pretty nice. I was trying to trade for David DeCastro. It didn't work, so I'll take Stephon Tuitt. We're going to be sending Corey Moore, Julius Thomas, and Ryan Grant to the Cleveland Browns for Jabril Peppers. Peppers develops pretty well in the sim, and he can play a bunch of positions, so I think this is a pretty good pickup for TJ Ward, Rashard Matthews, and Robert Ayers, 3 players we signed in free agency, are headed to Arizona for their first rounder, their second rounder, and their fourth rounder. Very surprised this deal got accepted, and if my Lions did this in real life, I would be really sad. Vontae Davis straight up for Kenny Golladay. Really, really good young player we're getting. For whatever reason, the Lions were interested in Marcus Hunt, so we're going to send him as well as a 5th and Johnson for their first round pick. If the Lions did this in real life, I would be pretty sad. So first Golladay and now their first round pick. This is ugly. Delvin Breaux, David Amerson, and Jacoby Brissett to the Bills for their first, second, and 7th round picks. This is a very risky trade, as I know Madden Sim absolutely loves Jacoby Brissett for whatever reason. So we gotta hope he doesn't, go top 5 in the MVP vote, which is no guarantee. I noticed that the Ravens were interested in both Danico Artery and Ryan Kelly. So I was originally just gonna get some draft picks, but then I was curious that how far would it go up for Lamar Jackson, and it was in the green. So I thought about it, would I rather Lamar Jackson or Andrew Luck? And after thinking about it, I think in 5 years, it would make more sense to have Lamar Jackson. So we're trading Artery, Kelly, and Marlon Mack to get him. Big trade. I did not expect this to happen. I just assumed we were going to roll out with Andrew Luck, but welcome to the team, Lamar. For whatever reason, the Panthers were green on Andrew Luck, even though they have Cam Newton. So we're going to get Christian McCaffrey as well as a 6th round pick. Now, the thing I like about this is that the Panthers really won't care about Andrew Luck that much. So maybe in a year or 2, if Lamar Jackson doesn't develop, we could always trade for Andrew Luck back, who probably won't be too hard since they have Cam. I didn't realize I was going to be trading for a rookie quarterback, so I didn't think I'd really need to worry about the offensive line right now. But now I want to get older offensive linemen, even if that means we do better and we'll get a lower draft pick. I just want to focus on Lamar Jackson's development. So we're trading DeMarco Murray, who I signed out of free agency, as well as a 4, and Pascal for his former Raven teammate, Marshall Yanda. As I said, I want to get an old offensive line for this season, just so Lamar Jackson can progress. So 3 players I signed in free agency, Eric Decker, Matt Moore, and Charkandrick West will get us Jason Peters from the 2 more players I signed out of free agency, Orleans Darkwa and Tom Savage, will get us Alex Smith. Here's a look at the roster. I've built a pretty nice offense around Lamar Jackson. Really good running back, really good wide receivers, good tight end in the game, not in real life. Really solid offensive line, maybe minus Matt Slauson. The defense is not great. Defensive line I do really like. Stephon Tuitt's really good. Garrett's really good. Buckner's really good. And maybe Tyquan Lewis plays well. Reuben Foster should be fine for the rest of the rebuild. Hopefully Darius Leonard plays well. Safeties look good. Corners don't look good. I might as well just make Quincy Wilson the starter. And yeah, let's get to the end of the season. At the season's end, we went 6-10. Lamar Jackson put up some really good numbers. 40 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, probably because of the spread offense scheme. McCaffrey has 3 skill points. Juju has 4. Juju does so well in the sim. Myles Garrett has 3. Reuben Foster has 5. Malik Hooker has 5. So, it looks like the progression went really well this year, and I think we're in line for a pretty good rebuild. Also, I might want to add that Lamar Jackson now has star development, so that's pretty cool. The free agency class was horrendous, so I didn't do anything. I kind of wish I signed Mike Hilton thinking about it, because we could use a lot of help at corner, but oh well. In the draft, we have pick 1. I see we have pick 6. We also have 15, 24, 25. So we can get ourselves some good players here. Ed Peak out of Ohio State. A+ spec catch, A+ medium route, B+ release. This dude might be the greatest player I have ever seen in my life. Welcome to the team. 84 with star development. I know we don't need a receiver one bit, but this guy looks absolutely nuts. I had to pick him. He looks insane. My goodness. He might have a couple 99s. 99 medium route. And there was another A+ stat. I think it might have been spec catch. We need an outside linebacker, so we're going to go with Curtis Hump Powell. Or as I want to say, Hump Powell. Out of Pittsburgh. He looks really good. And we do need another outside linebacker. 77 with star development. I think this is a pretty nice pick. He fits the scheme. And he has a good development. Marcus Grimes out of Oregon. Go Ducks. This guy looks absolutely insane. But we don't need a safety. We need some offensive line. So we're going to be drafting Ramorius Steele out of the Ohio State University. He looks like a pretty good player. And he is 79 with superstar development. Let's go. We need a really good cornerback. Actually, we need a bunch of really good cornerbacks. And we're going to be getting one here by trading Kenny Golladay, who we no longer need, as well as a second-round pick for Jason Verrett. Before you say, oh, you're being a biased Lions fan by trading for Darius Slay, trust me, I went after a bunch of other cornerbacks. Marlon Humphrey, Marshawn Lattimore, Tre'Davious White, Adoree Jackson, Jair Alexander, Denzel Ward. By the way, Alexander and Ward both have new face scans, so that's cool. But we're going to be trading 2 first-round picks. There's no one I really like on the board, as well as Tyquan Lewis to get Mr. Big Play Slay. A third-round pick, as well as Nate Hairston and Quincy Wilson, will get as a 1 and a 2 from the Bills next year. I told you guys Andrew Luck would be easy to get. I told you. A third-rounder and Nyheim Hines will get him. Obviously, I'm going to stick with Lamar Jackson just because he had a really good year. But we could probably get some decent value for Mr. Luck. With one of our second-round picks, we drafted an offensive lineman who's pretty bad. We're going to be sending him as well as Andrew Luck in a first-round pick to the Atlanta Falcons for Desmond Trufant, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. We drafted a quarterback in the second round of a draft, and he's a 77, so he's pretty solid. We're trading him in a 5th to the Steelers for David DeCastro. Here's a look at the team headed into season number 2. I think we have a really, really nice roster. I don't think we'll win the Super Bowl, but I think we certainly have a chance. 93 overall offense, 85 overall defense. I did sign Haloti Ngata out of free agency. Defensive tackle number 2 is the only position that I'm a little weary about, but that's not too big of an issue, so hopefully we do pretty good this year. At the end of the season, we go 9-6-1, which is good enough for a wild card spot. At mid-season, I moved Michael Thomas to the slot and then Juju Smith-Schuster and Eric Peak to the outside, which I think worked out pretty well because both of them have a lot of skill points. And Michael Thomas, I'm not too concerned about his progression. Jaguars went 12-4. The Texans also went 9-6-1, but it looks like we made the playoffs over them. Or maybe both of us made the playoffs. I don't know. Malik Hooker with 3 more skill points. Garrett with 4. So, it looks like we're doing really solid. We are going to be simming to the Super Bowl. I can't imagine we made it and we didn't. So, oh well. There's always next year. I didn't expect to win it this year. How can your name be Long Little? That just does not make any sense. Once again, the free agency class was terrible. I signed Anthony Brown for trade value. He's actually the only guy who accepted. And we're going to get Rodney Hudson out of him, so that's pretty cool. With the 14th overall pick, we'll be drafting Frank Anetkampali out of Texas. Hopefully he's good. And he is 80 overall quick development. Something we noticed, I think, in the last rebuild, or a couple rebuilds ago, was that rookie quarterbacks have so much value, and you can literally get anyone you want. As we're going to be trading some rookie we drafted, as well as a 6th round pick, to the Denver Broncos for 98 overall Von Miller. I did not expect this trade to get accepted, but I'll gladly take it. Another rookie quarterback who is only yellow because obviously the Eagles don't really need a quarterback, as well as Darius Leonard will get us Fletcher Cox, 97 overall, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. Here's a look at the team. We have a 95 overall offense, and it looks really good. The defense is 93. It also looks really nice. I traded for Zach Brown. I traded a second and a third for him just because in like some formations or packages, just in case he happened to play, I'd rather him in than Franklin. So hopefully we did good this year. At the end of the season, we go 9-5-2. What a weird record, which is good enough for another wild card spot. We once again don't win the division. That's because of the pesky Jaguars. So hopefully we can make the Super Bowl this time. I hope we make it. I sort of doubt it. And of course, we miss it. But Rams have made it all 3 seasons now, so another offseason, woohoo. Probably not going to do anything drastic. Probably not going to change anything at all. The only player I see regressing is Rodney Hudson, and that's probably about it. We originally had the 29th pick, and I was able to trade it as well as some random defensive tackle to the Bears for the 1st overall pick. And we're going to be using that as well as Jason Verrett and Jabril Peppers to get Jalen Ramsey. We signed Patrick Peterson in free agency, so we don't really need Verrett. So we're basically swapping Peppers for Jalen Ramsey, which is pretty crazy. Here's a look at the team headed into the 4th season. This will probably be the last one because I don't see how we can make this team any better than it already is. So hopefully we win the ship. At the end of the season, it looks like we got a 1st round bye, finally going 13-3. That's huge, so I'm going to give everyone their XP. And then hopefully we make it. I'm going to be simming to the Super Bowl. Hopefully we make it, and we do. We're going to be taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams have made it all 4 seasons, which is absolutely crazy. So that's good to see us in. Lamar Jackson is a skill point. We don't need to change anything. We just need to win this football game against this Rams dynasty because they've been so good. You know, I think I should have given them their skill points because we lost. 28-21. I'm not going another year. That's how the video's going to end. We ended up with a really good team, and unfortunately, we couldn't quite win the big game, but at least we made it, and we got the experience.